Because what will happen is, right, so now we're actually live, right? And so now we're being broadcast onto LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So
beautiful.
I thought we better start by just making it real, because we're not exactly a professional outfit here. I think that's the whole point, right? Because we just turn up, we give it a crack, and then go from there. So, hello, Facebook world, LinkedIn, YouTube. Popping up tonight. I haven't been around a lot lately. I've been doing a lot of reconnaissance. I've been doing a lot of community building, doing a lot more connecting on a much deeper level rather than just projecting lately. But one of the people that I've been connecting with a lot is Wade here. So I'd like to introduce you to Wade Hobba. So g'day, Wade.
Hello, how are we? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, this is your first live. This is the first time you've done this. And it's quite funny because we're about to jump on and like, what do we do? Do we have questions? I said, no, we'll just have a conversation between you and I and just do it naturally.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then we started the live without you actually noticing, and I just got it up and running. Yeah, 100%, but that's life. But I want to thank you. I really want to thank you for joining me on this journey of life, because it's something that we've got a very close bond, and through a lot of difficult opportunities, we've been able to create better opportunities for all of us, really. So I'm going to start by sharing with everybody, in your eyes, how we met.
Yeah. Firstly,
talk to me.
Firstly, thank you.
Give you up, brother.
Means a lot.
Give you up. Yeah, I like that.
Means a lot.
Give you up. Well, we'll see where we go. So, Wade Hobba, who are you first?
I am Wade Hobba.
You are Wade Hobba. Right.
So, winding back the clock. It's been an interesting 6 months.
Yeah.
Interesting, the last 200 days or so. And, I was really lucky to come across you when I felt like the world was pretty much imploding on me. So,
well, 200 days, right? That's quite significant. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
So the day we met, what happened?
So the lead up, the day before, my wife left me. I lost my kids, and my sister passed away on the same day. So it was a pretty head spinning moment. As I said, my world was sort of imploding, and of all places, first I got on the drink, and that was my coping strategy. That's what had worked for me in the past.
Yep.
Sort of that Band-Aid, drink my sorrows sort of way of fixing or addressing things.
Yep.
And that's all I knew. That was all I had in my toolkit at the time. So I got on the drink, and where's that going to lead to, really?
Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was fortunate. This might sound a bit spooky, but I was fortunate that I had a plan to go to Tommy Bellman's event.
Yeah. Who's Tommy?
Tommy, coach at Mantastic.
Yeah.
Tommy's amazing. Tommy's been incredible through this whole journey.
Yeah.
I hadn't met him. I'd only spoken to him on the phone. And when I chatted to him on the phone, my son was in the car with me.
Yep.
This was the week prior to everything going downhill.
Yep.
And my son said, "Dad, you need to go to that. That sounds amazing. You need to go to that." And so next week, lost my partner and kids, lost my sister. I was on the drink, and I don't know if it was a voice. I don't know if it was a promise that I knew I had to fulfill to my son. But I got up, I got dressed, and I got in an Uber, and I ended up at the Hilton. And you were there that same day. So the universe works in mysterious ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love that, because it's not just you're there on the same day. We're both there to really raise the bar. We're both looking at ways to increase our productivity, increase our experience in this journey called life. It was a big day, and it was actually at the end of the day. I go to the toilet, and I'm standing there holding my old fella. This bloke's standing there holding his old fella. I said, "G'day, mate, how are you? Just want to thank you for doing your best." How did you take that?
I was caught off guard.
Yeah.
I was caught with my pants down.
You literally caught with your pants down.
But why I was there, my why had shifted significantly. I was lost, and I was looking for answers in any way, shape, or form where I could find answers. I was lost, and I needed to be found, and I just saw that as even though no one knew my situation, everyone was there to better themselves. I was just there to have people surround me. I didn't have the best relationship with my family. Like social embarrassment from the situation that was occurring. So normally I go on my shell and I isolate myself. So how good would it have been to be around 100 strangers that didn't have any judgment, didn't care? So for me, I was lost, and I just wanted to try to find my place and be surrounded. But I found myself surrounded in a urinal by yourself. And you gave me these socks, and I wear glasses now. I only recently got my glasses, but I couldn't read it, and I asked you to read it for me because
those socks.
But I'm telling you now, it's probably lucky that you read it to me, because I wouldn't have been able to get through it. The words jumped out at me, and they hit me right in the heart. And I didn't break down. I had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've been inseparable ever since.
100%. And do you mind if I take over for a sec?
Love to.
All right, great. So when I met Wade and we had the initial moment, we then spent an hour and a half, and we unpacked what's actually going on for you at the minute. And that in itself was a beautiful, beautiful moment, because I think looking at your situation, you were completely heard and seen.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't about making anything wrong or anything. It was about getting to the point of understanding, so that we have the opportunity to actually work through that. Now, I know you've done a lot of different things in your life and been a part of a lot of things, but to have space held for you in that moment, how did that feel?
How did it feel? It was the ingredient that was needed in my life. But it felt unique in the fact that you loved a different side of me. For a stranger to see me, obviously I project a certain way.
Yeah.
And you saw me for the real me. You saw my heart open up, and you opened up your heart to me, and it just created a lot of curiosity as well. I was very curious in what you saw in me, because at that point in time, I didn't see it in myself.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, you were looking at me through a complete different lens. So it also raised the curiosity for me, like, what the possibilities are. If he can see this in me, what is it, and how do I sort of project that to others? Because it was quite special.
So now we're 6 months on, and we've done a lot of stuff together. What do you reckon it was that I saw of you? What eyes did I see you through?
You saw my heart.
Yeah.
You saw my heart, but you saw me through no judgment.
Yeah.
And I believe you saw the future version of me. You acknowledged my present. You didn't judge me on my past, and you're optimistic towards my future. And you telegraphed that, and you instilled hope in me, which was fantastic.
Beautiful, because for me, you've heard me talk a lot about heartbreaking open moments.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a really big one, because the lens I saw you through was the lens of a father, a lens of a grandfather, a lens of love, looking to support you beyond what you felt. Because a father, a grandfather, especially grandfather's love is just to be there in the moment, not make anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then just try and give you an opportunity to see things beyond where you're at right now. I think that's super powerful. So, and I'm looking at the camera and going, maybe we should be looking forward, but if not, it doesn't matter. But that moment, right? You left that day and you changed. You changed after we'd spent that hour and a half.
Significantly.
Yeah. What do you think changed in you?
Mindset.
So explain that.
I didn't know necessarily how to deal with the emotions that I was going through.
Yeah.
You helped create a growth mindset, especially dealing with pain, using pain as fuel, and really harnessing that energy and converting that negative into something positive. That was huge. That was a game changer for me. So all that negative energy I had, I just invested it on anything that made me better. So everything that I was conscious of everything I consumed, and I really just utilized that power to put me on a path of moving forward, not stagnating or moving backwards. So that was huge. Understanding that this is happening for me, not to me, that was massive. So then I started concentrating or focusing or being optimistic to look for the lessons that I was to learn. Because there's no wins and losses, it's wins and lessons.
Yeah.
So like looking for the lessons and thinking, if I'm going to go through this pain, I'm not going to let it happen for no reason. I'm going to learn from this. So that was huge. And also, he taught me that my heart isn't breaking. My heart's breaking open for a bigger heart to come through.
Yeah.
And that was big, because now I flex my heart, so.
Well, that's an important thing, right? Because as blokes in general, I think we're becoming better and better and better at, actually, I've just been doing disco lights on. Let's stop the disco, because but as blokes, to be talking about heart breaking open, talking about coming from a place of love, choosing love in moments where it's actually quite painful. That's not a conversation that blokes have.
No, not at all.
But in doing so, what has that brought about in your life?
It's enabled me to meet new people, attract new people.
Yeah.
Open doors that necessarily wouldn't have opened for me.
Yeah.
And the whole lens thing that I was talking about, I see things through a complete different lens. I see things through love and forgiveness or lessons. So it's been poignant that way.
You appreciate other people's journeys a lot more, don't you? Like,
yeah.
And it's like one of the things that, like the Smilligan logo, right? Spike Milligan inspired, smiling is infectious. That's actually my smile emerging from the darkness of my life, right? That's what it's all about. Because when and this is something we've had big discussions about, when we've got the pain in our life, and if we sit in the pain, and we like to embrace the pain and go through it, not avoid it. But we project how we feel. We project, and that keeps people away for many, many years. People would stay away from me. They wouldn't come near me.
Yeah.
But when I found my inner smile and I owned my story and I found a way to love through different mentors, it gave me an opportunity for people to come towards me. Since I've known you, when I met you, you had life carrying on you.
Yeah.
And you've learned to open your heart further, which has allowed people in, but it's softened you.
Yeah. And it's also opened a whole new dynamic of what the meaning of gratitude is for me as well.
Yeah, good.
Like I used to read a lot,
Yeah.
and I'd write my gratitude list, but did I really comprehend or understand what gratitude was? It wasn't until I lost everything that really put things in perspective, and I gained it all. I had to lose everything to really realize what I was grateful for. Earl Nightingale talks about it, how we hold so much value in things that are transactional, like materialistic things, things with a price tag. We think that is valuable.
Yeah.
But it's not until you lose something for free. We don't hold value on things that are free.
Yeah.
But often the things that are free are the most valuable, such as eyesight. I now wear glasses.
Yeah.
We take it for granted.
Yeah.
I've had a few knee injuries. Our ability to walk and our ability to be active, we take it for granted. We don't look after our vessel, do we?
Yeah.
I don't. I abused it.
Yep.
My relationship with my children, my ability for them to be under the same roof as me. How many parents do you see? We see it all the time. We get tired and we doom scroll on our phones.
Yeah.
We don't understand how precious that time actually is. So it wasn't until I lost everything I gained it all. And what did I gain? I gained gratitude. I gained appreciation.
I think you gain the best version of you too. Like one of the things that we talk about a lot is, because how you going? One of the things that I think is, 100% take a minute or two. Maybe we're back, maybe we're not. Anyway, but it's in these life-defining moments that if we've got the right people around us and we choose love and we choose the opportunity to grow, like these have been your darkest days.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
Right? And all I've seen is you grow. All I've seen is you take a step forward to be a better man. And why? I'm going to ask you why that's important. Like, rather than me put words into your mouth, why is it so important for you right now in your darkest times to become a better man?
I keep just referring back. It's just a season.
Yeah.
So winter's just a season.
Yeah.
I will get through this.
Yep.
But once this season's over, what kind of man am I at the end of that? At the end of that little period,
Yep.
how do I look then? How do I present to my kids? What kind of man is there for his mum and dad? Who's there to carry the baton? So during that winter, if I hibernate and I don't grow, my trajectory looks completely different than the man that's gone through growth. He's doing daily the best things that 1%ers.
1%.
Brick by brick, building that
Brick
wall,
by brick.
all these analogies.
Yeah.
It's a complete different outcome.
Well, I do want to grab something, and I need to ask if it's okay to talk about it because it's fairly well known that I've had an interesting relationship with my family. It's been difficult. You've had a similar pathway, but in the darkest moments, you actually went with love in your heart, put everything aside, and were just present. How much a difference did that make to the connection with your mum and dad?
It hasn't been like the way it is.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
never experienced it.
Yeah, well, so share that.
I left home young. Came from a very good family.
Yeah.
However, due to circumstances, I just isolated myself, and I created my own family.
Yep.
And I just became very independent, but I shut myself off. And so there was no relationship, to be honest. There wasn't a relationship.
Yeah.
And then when there's absence from people, lines get a bit blurred, and you forget you forget what the conflict actually is, and then you start to invent things in your head, or you start to blame other people without actually nipping in the bud and addressing what the original issue was.
Yeah.
So it just spiraled. It just spiraled into something that was, I thought, irreconcilable. We just got too far out of our reach, and we hadn't mended anything. But through my most traumatic experience, it strengthened us. It bonded us, brought us closer together again, and just felt like I was home again.
Home in a couple of ways, because I sort of feel like there's not just home physically with your parents, but home in your heart.
Definitely not physical.
Yeah.
I felt like it's so conflicting because I feel like a little boy at home, but at the same time I feel like I've gone back to them as a man that they can really lean on as well.
Yeah.
But the inner child of me feels like he's home. But the external version of me, I feel like that I can support them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I'm there for my nephews. I'm there for dad. I'm there for mum. And mum and I have never had a relationship.
Yeah.
We've never had a relationship. Mum had a brain hemorrhage when I was very young.
Yep.
And when she came home, which we weren't expecting her to come home, and she came back, she was very different. I don't know how many people have experienced people that suffer brain trauma.
Yeah.
But I just thought that mum hated me. I didn't realise it. I had no idea. And this is the first time I'm speaking about this.
I appreciate that.
But it wasn't until I heard someone talk about it recently, and I started to understand. And I started to really understand, oh my God, it wasn't me. Maybe mum just... she was just doing the best she could. She didn't know how to regulate her emotion.
Yeah.
And I feel, I don't know how to word this, but she's the closest person in my life at the moment. And every time I would drink or every time I party, when you have D&Ms, the amount of resentment that I had towards her, like it was huge, and that motivated why I wouldn't go back home.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was talking about the algorithm of our memory. It feeds the emotional state that we're in.
Correct.
My memory was just feeding me with thoughts that maybe they weren't a true depiction of how life was. So I was constantly resentful. But I don't know. We patched it all up. Now we had a heart to heart. We sat down. Once the dust had sort of settled a little bit after my separation and my sister passing, we sat down and we were looking at a photo album, and we were just looking at photos. And out of nowhere, we had like a really courageous conversation. And I just said, "Look, I was terrified of you. Like we had a heart to heart, and we just cried." And she said, "I'm sorry, I love you." And now, like we message every day. Like I text her every day, and the change in her, by me stepping up to the plate as well, the change in her, she's the most amazing woman in my life, and I'm really grateful. Some things that you've worked on with me.
And Tommy's been a big influence on that too.
Tommy's been massive.
Yeah, because he's very close to his parents.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I love what he brings to the table in that.
100%.
Yeah.
Tommy talks about his relationship audits,
Yeah.
so looking after, keeping track of relationship audits, and just something as simple like the other week, I just messaged Mum and I said, "What's your favourite memory of me?" No, hi, how are you? No context, no good morning, no nothing. Just something simple like that, and it just created a whole.
What was her favourite memory?
I'll keep that between us.
Okay.
I'll tell you. When I was younger, I didn't. I think I was working at Pancake Parlour or something.
Okay.
And I didn't have much money.
Yeah.
So for Christmas, I wrote a whole bunch of IOUs.
Yeah.
IOU, a hug, IOU, chocolate. Like I just wrote heaps of IOUs and I put them in a card. I said, I'll pay you back one day. So hopefully I'm paying back those IOUs now.
Oh, giddy up.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the things that I talk about a lot with when I used to work with Victorian Brotherhood. It used to be called Raise a Pen, right? Where I would encourage people to have, instead of just buying something, take the time and write it out.
Yeah.
Take the time and write it out. So I'm just looking at the screen, and when we do this again, we should be looking at the screen, looking at people, and I reckon that'll probably engage more because we're looking at each other. But we'll have a look at that later. So, because it's one of the things we do here is it's like there's no filter, there's no edit, it's just real. So, with that in mind, right, I want to talk about the now, right? Because you've got a different circle of influence around you.
Yeah. Powerful circle.
Powerful circle of influence. How important is your circle of influence?
Well, you are what you consume. I'm a firm believer of
We'll have
that.
a crack at this.
Sorry?
We'll have a crack at looking this way.
Yeah, you are what you consume.
Yeah.
And everyone says you're a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
So yeah, my circle, Tommy refers to his circle as his board.
Mm-hmm.
My board, it's crucial. It's huge.
Yeah. And it's good to go through your board, check it out, and go, I'll drop those two.
Yeah.
Pick up some new members because it pays dividends.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things that I am most impressed with you is your ability to be able to take on information and then make something of it. Now, what have you done? What like at the moment you've taken all of what life has thrown at you, you've digested it, you've chosen to come with love in your heart, you've chosen to step up and go, I'm going to own this, it's not going to own me. And what have you created?
Well, I listened.
Mm-hmm. You did.
I learned.
You did.
And then application, action.
Correct.
So that was key. And with your help and your community, I've put together another community, Derek. It's a powerful community.
Very powerful community.
Yeah, powerful community. Helping empower men and provide a really great, safe environment for men to talk about life issues and really help focus on 5 key areas of their life: mindset, relationship, adventure, productivity, and health. So we work on those 5 things.
What's it called?
Derek.
Why is it called Derek?
Derek's our alter ego. Yeah, we had a discussion at the dinner in Frankston the other night. Boys got around Derek, and we ran an exercise talking about how we all have an inner Derek, but how Derek's choices, emotions, thoughts, and behaviours really influence all aspects of our life. And there's a real chain reaction. A Derek thought, a negative thought, can really create a negative chain reaction that filters throughout everything. And especially, I'm big on relationships.
Yeah.
I'm really key on relationships because it's transgenerational. We're as men, we're role models, and our behaviours that we're exhibiting, they're role model to our kids. So it really filters down to the next generation. So that's why I'm really big on relationships and role modeling behaviours.
Oh, look, I love this, right? Because there's a lot to play out. And look, you're going to see a lot more of Wade and I pop up over the next however long, wherever the journey takes us. But it's been very interesting because I am huge on courageous conversations. I think courageous conversations are the most important thing that we can have in our lives. And that comes with understanding self and our projection, so then we can sit in those conversations in a safe place. Like those who follow anything I do know that I don't do vulnerable. I will not put a man under harm or attack emotionally or physically. I will have a courageous conversation. I will get in the boat and I will row with him. I will not put him on his own out into the battle without armour. So that's not for me. Courageous conversations. Now, after going through catching up and then you coming to the dinner, having courageous conversations with other men, how are you finding that?
How am I finding it?
Yeah. How are you finding the Smiles for Life dinners? Let's start there.
They're transformative. They're powerful. How do I find it? I'm finding that there's a massive need for it.
Yeah.
That it's heartbreaking at times to see that there's men that are sitting silently in pain.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening. It's a lot of things. How do you see it?
Yeah, great. Because I sit and I see a lot of men have lost their voice, and they're too nervous to speak up in case they get things wrong. And I think that's harsh. I think we need to find more safe places so we can practice. You know, I think the best thing about Smiles for Life dinner is it gives guys an opportunity to practice having the conversations. So then when it comes time, they can. Because as a man, I used to get a problem and I'd react. And I'd react to that problem and I'd make poor decisions because I wasn't curious about the situation. I didn't ask more questions. I didn't get involved in conversation. I just reacted to the situation. But now we've got response.
Yeah.
We're going to respond to the situation, which means I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to react to it because in a reactionary application, for me, has always been sharp.
And how amazing is the environmental factor?
Ah, yes.
So it's such a safe environment to talk about real life issues. So what I found in my traditional circles, all our conversations would, or in a social setting, the common denominator was alcohol. Yeah. So you go to a footy club, and you're talking and it's, oh, do you want a beer? You go to a barbecue and do you want a beer? And if you don't drink, you've
ostracized.
They say, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And then you say, "No, there's nothing wrong with me." "Oh, good on you." Then you're patronised.
Yeah.
So the environment's key, and not only that, it opens up so much deeper dialogue than surface level conversation that might be the footy scores or how's the weather or the old ball and chain sort of conversation when people are complaining and moaning about relationships. It opens up real deeper dialogue.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? Because we're having guys talk about things in life and they're not complaining.
Not at all.
You know? So what they're doing is they're becoming curious about their outcome, which means you have to take some internal investigation, right?
Yeah.
So you go inwards to go outwards. And once you go in, you actually find some good answers.
Yeah. Because the listening.
Yeah.
Listening is the most important thing as well from sharing.
Mm.
So by listening to other people's experiences, it sort of helps I don't want to speak on behalf of others, but it helped put my life in perspective as well.
Yeah.
I didn't feel alone. I was like, oh my God. Because we sit in silence and we don't talk about these things, we think I'm alone in this world, my whole world's shit. Look what's happening to me, or me.
Yeah.
And then you sit in a room with other men and you hear that their stories parallels yours, that they're going through it as well. And then you think, oh my gosh, I'm not alone on this. So then by listening, then you start to share and open up more.
Yeah.
That's what I found.
No, but that's the key, right? Because we're so busy talking, and generally, if we're needing justification for our story, or justification for our position, or justification for how we're feeling, we're projecting. We're looking for a response.
Yeah.
Right. But when we don't have that, we've got the opportunity of being able to listen.
Mm.
And I think that's the importance of owning you and own your headspace. You know, who's paying rent?
Mm.
Are you collecting it or are you paying it?
Yeah,
100%. So
100%.
That's a whole other thing.
And then when people are listening and the whole environment is listening, then when you do have your time to speak, what happens? You're heard.
100%.
And then when you're heard, your emotions are validated.
Yeah.
You're not told, oh, don't talk about that or toughen up or something like that.
Yeah.
You're heard and you're validated and you get it off your chest.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to say to this. Like, I just wanted to pop up tonight just to introduce you. Like, I don't know how I've gone for 33 minutes, but I one of the things I've really, really enjoyed over the years is popping up and having dialogue and then having questions. Like in the old days when I used to get on here, the comments would be full.
Yeah.
I'm just full because we get on and have a chat. And I've stepped away from it a bit because it takes its toll.
Mm.
You know, it takes its toll sitting in the emotional world all the time. But I'm looking forward to coming back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking forward to creating an opportunity where people can come in and have a conversation, because that is where we find growth. When we step into things together, side by side, walk together, have a courageous conversation, that's where we go. So on that note, I just want to say thank you, Wade.
Thank you.
I appreciate you greatly. I look forward to bringing a lot more to everybody. I look forward to actually opening up what's coming.
Beautiful.
You know, like I've been relatively quiet of late, just so I could reload. This man's going to be alongside me, so we're going to have some fun. Any last words?
Thank you.
Namaste. Come here, brother. Cheers. All right, well, take care. I'll find that button. Might start popping up again. I reckon about October sometime. I reckon I'll be back. I might even do a weekly live, I reckon, Wait.
Done.
Get up and have a bit of a conversation. So, all right, from my heart to yours, take care. Speak soon. Now.